Okay, so now we're going to look at some round pieces here, and we're going to construct these very similarly to how we have constructed a lot of the other pieces, and that's by using some of the existing geometry that we already have here. So I'm going to start here by just going and let's actually take this whole thing and keep this one as a reference. I'm just going to copy and paste it into a new layer, and we can hide our background here for now. I'm just going to select the top and the bottom here, shift up arrow until I get to that rim just outside, and then I'm going to invert my selection with the open bracket key and cut out the rest. So this will give us kind of the starting point for what we want to create. So now there are two pieces here. I'm going to look at creating one that is just essentially the same size as the piece that we just worked on here. And let's put that in wireframe mode so we can see it without it getting in the way. But it has a little rim that comes out to here, and it cuts back in and drops down. All right, so let's look then at creating that. So what I'm going to do to start myself off here is I'm going to select this loop and then shift up arrow, and I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to hide what I've copied, and I'm doing this so that I can paste in some geometry and then still have control over it, and be able to actually grab it, that is, without it just meeting up with everything else and duplicating my polygons, causing just a big nightmare that I'll end up having to go and run some kind of a cleanup script on. Now the rim that runs along here is actually half the height of one of these. It's 0.8 millimeters. So I'm just going to take this whole thing here and I'm going to scale it down to 50%. All right, so that'll work. And now I'm going to move it down, and I want it to fall just underneath this rim here. So, and we can look at the numbers here, and you'll be able to tell. You know, it's going to be some kind of a multiple of 0.8. In this case, it's 1.5 times that 0.8 because we've cut it in half. Okay, and now what we want is we want this to kind of align with the outer edge of this, and we actually know that that the middle here is 4.8 millimeters. So if we scale this out, we just want to look for a likely multiple, and in this case, you know, it's going to be something even, so 175%, and if we go back and do the math, we know that 175% of 4.8 is going to give us the 8 millimeters that we need. And now that I got this ready, I'm going to unhide the material that or the area that I'd copied, and now I have this actually ready to bridge piece to piece, but I'm not going to do that quite yet because I want to be able to use this to create the rest of my geometry here. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to copy this, and since it's not attached to anything, I'm just going to paste it and then go right to my move tool, and I'm going to move it down, and again, I want to kind of center it in the space that's here. And if we are actually, we could do it this way too. I can just move it all the way down. It's going to be 2.4 millimeters. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this up, and I'm going to change my action center to the origin. So I scale here from the bottom point, and this I'm just going to scale up until it meets. In this case, it's going to be about triple. So yeah, 300% looks like it's going to do it pretty nicely there. Okay, so that gives us the right height, and now all we're looking for is scaling this in. Now this one actually gets a little bit tricky here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it back in to where it meets this edge. Let's see, because I want these two to align with each other. So let's go to our top view and zoom in, and this to align with, I think it's probably the middle edge here. And we may not have a real good exact number now because we've been futzing around with this, and we might not hit it exactly. What we want to do is we want to make sure that, oops, we've aligned ourselves properly though. And oops, this is getting really finicky with me. There we go. So in this case, I've aligned it to the outer edge, which is actually going to be a little bit too far. Actually, no. Well, let's see here. Let's do this. I'm going to select this edge and this edge, and we'll just check our alignment here. Yeah, it's outside of it just a little bit, which is fine. If anything, we want a little bit of daylight here between this and this. So if this piece inserts into the bottom here, we'll actually have the proper amount of geometry. I'm going to take this part here and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it and go back to my scale tool. And we'll scale this back out. And if I'm not wrong, it should be, oops, let me check my dimensions here. Yeah, looks like it's not an exact multiple of anything here. So what I'm going to do is look for kind of a likely candidate for scale. Thinking 140 is probably going to be good. It's a little closer to the edge than halfway, so that'll probably work. I'm going to grab this part here and flip it. So we have the inner part, the outer rim. And we got pretty much everything ready here, and we're ready to kind of stick pieces together. So let's do that. I'm going to select this, and we'll run our bridge tool. Again, we'll have to go back and run some loop slices, but we can do them all together once we've got this done. So again, let's run our bridge tool. We'll go down to the bottom here. This, the bridge tool, and finally this. Oh, and this we have to make sure that we're going to align properly to this. And actually, look, they're not in the right vicinity here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this rim here, and we'll loop. Get our W, our move tool, and we're just going to pull this down to where it meets that. And the way we can check this and make sure that we've got this just right is I'm going to select this inner rim. I'm going to go to my scale tool, and I'm going to turn my action center to element. Let's maximize this. And then I'm going to set my center, or excuse me, my axis to auto. So it will center the tool handles on wherever we click. In this case, it's going to be on one of these polygons that runs right along the bottom here. But then it's still going to orient itself up and down perfectly. So now if I just take this, turn off negative scale, I can scale it flat, and we can just make sure that we've got that just right. So now I can drop that tool, and let's select this inner rim here. Now you can see they're actually lining up, so we can run our bridge tool and we know that we're set. Since we already had this geometry set for sure, we want to kind of defer to that as far as making any adjustments. So I'm going to go through here and do our loop slices that we'll need. So here, 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 here. We'll actually have 2 to delete if we do this, but that'll be all right. So I'm going to delete this inner one because we already have a rim there. And we'll delete this inner one because we already have a rim there. And we should be set here. Let's hide the background mesh. Let's go over to our model view. And there we go. All right, so the other piece that we're going to create here kind of in conjunction with this is one that's triple the height and then tapers inwards. And we can create this just using the geometry that we already have. So that this is going to come in pretty handy here. So let's see. Let's go over to our render view. Whoops, sorry, not render view, model quad view. And what we want to do is, actually first here, let's go ahead and create this. So, oops, excuse me here. Let's go File, save item preset. And we want to save this as 1_1 round. We'll save that as a file there. So if we go over, it's a good idea to just kind of double check and make sure you got it there. Again, I kind of like these rendered out previews, so we'll replace that here in a minute, but we'll get our other piece built first before we do that. All right, so let's go back to our quad view. And what we want to do is we just want to get everything that's kind of midway and up here so that we're, when we use our move tool here, we're moving, set this back to automatic, sorry. When we use our move tool, we're going to be moving the edge loops that come with the subdivision surfaces will make things cleaner. So I'm just going to take this and move it up, let's see, 6.4 millimeters. put it to the proper height. And there is a piece like this. It's hollow out in the middle, which this one will be too, but we won't be worrying about that because that one actually isn't in the thing that we're looking at. But should you have something where you need one of these, hey, you're already there. You can just go ahead and save your presetting it. But what we need to do here is we need to take this, and let's unsubdivide so you can see what we're looking at. We need to scale in this edge here to where it just about meets up there. And again, this is another one of those ones that doesn't have an exact measurement, one of the few, but it's really, really close. So I'm actually going to go back to subd mode, and what I'm going to do is select this loop, and then shift right arrow is going to select the next edge down to, then we're going to run our scale tool, and we're just going to scale that in until that lip there gets really, really fine. And you may want to just maximize your view and zoom in here to get a better look at it. We'll probably want to redo our loop slices here because this is going to get super, super tight. But it's good to leave them in while you do the scaling because you don't want to scale it based off of a rounded edge. It's going to cause a lot more headache than it's worth. So let's run our loop slices here. Don't need to be nearly so tight. I'm just going to put them in about like that. And again, I can turn up my, there we go, my level on that. Okay, so that's a good start here. The one thing that we have to fix is that this piece is actually hollow. So we're going to want to meet up this piece here with this piece here. So there are a couple ways that I can do this. The problem that I have is that I want to scale down, and I know I have this interior part is right as far as scale goes. So what I'm going to do is, instead of use this, I'm going to actually cut this out. Then I'm going to grab this polygon here, and I'm going to copy, hide, paste, select, move, and we'll move it up. Should be 1.5 millimeters if I'm not wrong, or 1.6, one of the two. Yep, 1.6 looks like. So we get that up into the right place, and then I'm going to flip that one, unhide the other one, which I didn't have to do right at this moment, but not a bad practice. And so I'm going to select these two edges, bridge. Now I'm going to select this polygon and this polygon. Actually, here, let's unsubdivide and make sure we've got these lined up just the way we want. It looks like we do. And here, before I do this, actually, let's go ahead and add in a loop slice here. I'm just going to set this to free and a count of 1. And I'm just going to bring this one in so it kind of matches up with the one that's underneath. Let's grab this one now, and this one, run our bridge tool. And oops, actually, take it back. Let's shift up arrow once there. Now we'll run our bridge tool. Make sure that these two align properly, and we'll hit our tab key and see what we got. Well, we got everything except we need to add this loop slice back in. And also, this is going to leave our loops that are on the inside here a little on the weird side. So I'm just going to select all of those that are running through their loop and get rid of those. I'm going to select this section, set ourselves back to symmetry and 2, and put those in. Not quite that tight. I'm going to go for that 2% again. And now looking at this, I think I may have gotten the wrong measurement, so it's good to double check. That's why I really recommend actually having the actual toy set there with you to look at. And I think here I can get a measurement on this. Let's go to our view and our dimensions tool. We'll turn that on, and you can see this is coming in at 1.4 millimeters. I think this is only supposed to be 0.8 if I measured it correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop select this entire thing, shift up arrow until I get the entire group here. Run our scale tool and just scale this on out. And what I guess we're probably looking for is going to be 3.2 millimeters, because it's going to be 4.8 minus 0.8 minus 0.8. So it's going to give us the right size. And here, let's just double check. I can grab these two, and we're getting darn close to 0.8. What I could do here would be to go to basic, snaps, and precision, turn on my absolute scaling. I want to scale this from the center, and I want to make this exactly 3.2 millimeters. And we don't want to make this longest axis. We want to make this on the X, because the longest axis right now is the up and down. And just click the button, and that will make it exactly 3.2 millimeters. So now if I go and check these out, we should be, well, helps if I grab the right one. Yeah, that's a lot closer here. All right, so there we go. We have this one ready, and we're good to go. Okay, so let's get those two round ones out of the way. Let's check them off here. Let's actually make ourselves a preset before we do this. Let's drop all our tools, and go ahead and make another preset. So let's go 1 tall, round. You know, I have to get this detailed with these, but for me, I like having them nicely named so I can see what they are without having them in there. And there it is. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make a rendering for each of these. And we'll come back and we'll look at some of the larger pieces, more pieces bridged together, and we'll look at some long pieces, some more squared pieces, rectangle pieces, and get those all taken care of. All right, thanks. See you in the next video.